Hello, I'm Brother Carter.
And I am... who am I? Okay.
Start over. Hello, I'm Brother Carter.
And I am Val.
And we have a new show called
Tasteful and Toxic.
Coming out when?
Every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Check us out.
Tune in. All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Tasteful and Toxic with Brother Carter and his co-host, Sister Val. Look here, today we're going to talk about the differences between man, wife, husband, wife, man, female, male or female. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're going to talk about today.
Them two
things right there. Because there is a difference, should I say, between both male and female. Mm-hmm. But there's a good difference and a bad difference. There's a toxic difference and a tasteful difference.
Okay.
And so we're going to get to the nitty gritty of both sides of whether it's tasteful or whether it's toxic.
Or what part of that is tasteful and what part is toxic? Okay, then.
And so before we start the show, we're going to introduce our guests on the show today. And I'm going to start with the ladies and start with the co-host, Miss Val. Miss Val, introduce yourself.
Hi, I am the co-host of Tasteful and Toxic.
Mm-hmm.
I am Val.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, Val, welcome to the show.
All righty then.
And then on the side of you, we have the Queen. Queen, introduce yourself.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I am Queen Shiba, host of The Palace. You can find me on YouTube, Queen Shiba Darling. I am a product developer by day and a content creator by night.
Come on now.
Pleasure to be here.
Hello. All right. I like that.
Thank you for coming to the show, Miss Queen Shiba. You're a lovely lady. Okay, coming to my left. We had a man over here to my left. Here's start with my brother Trae. Introduce yourself, brother Trae.
Absolutely. My name is Trae Hodge, one half of That Kind of Media. We help business owners and corporations build brand awareness and generate leads through video. So happy to be here.
All right.
Yeah.
But last but not least, introduce yourself, brother AD over there.
Whew, greetings and salutations again.
Greetings and salutations,
ladies and gentlemen. Glad to be back on one of my favorite shows. My name is Adonis Mitchell, but you can call me AD. I am a personal and professional development coach and the creator of the session, The Conversation Connecting Men. I don't know where we're going today, but let's get there.
Well, the host don't even know where he's going, but we're gonna get there.
That means this is gonna be a great Tasteful and Toxic.
Yes. So when you hear the differences between male and female, husband, wife,
Boyfriend, girlfriend.
Okay.
What jumps out into your head, Queen Shiba?
When I hear the differences,
Yeah.
Oh, when you think of difference,
When you think of differences between, the two.
the male or the female.
I don't need no help.
I think what comes to my mind is collaboration. Stream.
So is there a difference? Or should there be a difference?
See, that's tricky. So if we become one,
Mm-hmm.
Oh
are
my,
we
come on.
different? Are we the same?
That's a good one. Come on now, psychological.
I got to give it back
Come
to
on.
you. So
Come on.
are we different if we become one?
Well, I think we all start off different.
But when we become one, the question she asked.
Okay, so we're not talking about a husband and a wife right now. Let's
Yeah.
just stay with male versus
So
female.
now you're moving
Now
the
he go-
goalpost.
now
All
he
right,
moving the goalpost. He moving
Did he
the
say
goalpost.
husband and
Yeah.
wife?
He
at
started
first?
off with husband and wife.
Okay, we're gonna move toward that later. Let's start here, both male and he made them both male and
we ready.
female.
Yes, he
We
did.
ready.
All
I
right.
ain't had my shot yet, and I'm good.
All right. You sip on my cup.
You might not want that one.
So when you hear both male and female, what stands out to you that might be different other than the obvious?
Physicality,
Yeah.
Mhm.
communication,
Okay.
thought process.
Okay. When you say
Physicality.
physicality,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
When you say physicality, what expound on that a little bit?
your aura.
Mm.
When I think about the physicality,
Mm.
I know most people would go to the physical structure, but your aura,
Mhm.
your aura.
What you exude.
Yes,
Mhm.
as a man and as a woman, and how does that complement each other by way of differences?
Okay. And you say communication. You say-
Mhm.
Okay. And what you?
How do we bridge the gap?
Yeah.
Because we communicate differently. Men tend, in my opinion, tend to process
Mhm.
before verbalizing, whereas
Okay.
women verbalize naturally
Mhm.
without processing.
Yeah.
And I think what we also have a tendency to do is while we're processing, we think that we're communicating.
There you go.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's
Yes.
that's a real
This-
good
this
one
is
there.
This is the challenge that my wife and I deal with,
Mm.
because there's times when I have gone through scenarios. Okay, I got to do this, got to do this, got to do that, and I promise you, I swear that I have communicated the thoughts that I have just worked through.
Mhm.
Like I got to do this on Monday, got to do this on Tuesday. I
Mhm.
got this. There's a funeral that I went to last night. We have a calendar up, and I know we talked about the funeral,
Mm-hmm.
but as I was putting my clothes out, she gave me this look of confusion.
Like, where you going?
Exactly.
Mhm.
And I was like, the funeral. Oh, I thought that was in the morning.
Mm.
No, it starts at 7. I didn't, and I stopped. I said, I didn't communicate that clearly, did I? No, you
Mm.
didn't.
Mhm.
So is that a male or female thing, or could that?
It's a me
just be
thing.
a-
So I'm a male.
Yeah,
So
I think that. Yeah,
so but I think we do that sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference of just of thinking process that you're speaking of. There, I don't know if that can be pent on male or female, because my wife is female. And
She does
She
that?
does the same thing.
Oh,
Mm.
Oh,
okay.
wait. See, I be
No, I'm
trying.
serious.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
we're
try-
just talking on the
but
way
you-
to work.
But you,
I know I'm making you toxic right now.
Yeah, and I don't want to be. I'm gonna try to stay in this
Alright.
Don't take the
Zen
bait.
place.
Okay.
I'm not gonna take. Thank you, sis.
Don't take the
Yeah.
bait.
I'm not gonna take the bait.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, go ahead. What were you gonna
No,
say
go
about?
ahead.
No, I'm not taking the
Yeah.
bait. I am not gonna be toxic this show. Every show, I have to be the toxic one.
Yeah,
thank
you know,
That was
Listen,
a setup.
I love Queen Sheba. I need to be on some more shows with Queen Sheba. Okay.
Shut up. Look, stirring the pot
Listen,
like that.
listen.
Oh, stir the pot up.
so this morning we were riding into the
Mhm.
studio,
Mhm.
and you thought you had
Mm-mm.
spoke something to me,
What?
and you had not.
What you talking about, Debo?
Your ring.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What
Yeah.
happened?
You had a lost ring in the house,
I did.
and you.
I thought I said to him 3
But-
times, baby, have you seen my ring?
Right.
Mm.
And I guess I didn't, because I was
Yeah.
at the point I was getting ready to say,
You were thinking about the ring,
Mm.
but I just
but
never
you
communicated.
know you
Yeah.
lost it.
I knew I misplaced
Yeah.
it. Mhm.
And so
Uh-oh.
and you just automatically assume when I say,
Did you
"Do
lose?
you know where your ring is?"
Mhm.
And she like, "I asked you about." No, you did not.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Because I specifically left it in a certain place,
That you
waiting
waiting on me
you
to come get
ask
it.
about it,
All right.
and you did not ask.
Okay, but
So-
so you're toxic about that.
Oh.
No, I'm just being
Strategy.
tasteful.
Strategy.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm being
strategy.
tasteful.
All right, so that is.
Yeah.
Trace it,
So
trace
Trae,
it.
when you hear the subject, so Trae, when what you think about what Queen Shiba just said about physicality, communication, and she gave a third one too.
Processing of things.
Yeah.
Processing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Communication for sure. Communication definitely. Processing information. I'm still learning a lot about myself and how I process information and so on and so forth. And I realize I take a lot of time. I don't take a lot of time. I need time to process. Where my wife, she can process in the moment
Yeah.
and then talk on it. I'm like, whoa, you know.
Mhm.
As far as the aura, I think is interesting because that can go either way. Because depending on the person's personality, they can. I'm assuming that you're saying a man gives off a more manly aura. I don't know if that's what you're saying, and a woman gives off a womanly. And I'm not really explaining it.
No.
Woman-
Keep going. I'm
Yeah.
following.
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes some women can give off a strong
Yeah.
aura, whereas they come off a little bit more dominant. So aggressive. Exactly. So I think that can be kind of a variable within it, but I believe the communication and the processing is spot on. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm not trying to start that.
Yeah, he's stirring up. He might be a little toxic too.
And see, at the end of the day, we can only speak of who we are,
and what you've experienced.
Yeah, what we've experienced in life, And if you're trying to wrap it up on what other people do, we're not going to bring a clear version of the conversation that needs to take place.
So I'm going to bring it up, and I'm not going to be toxic. I think the difference is from male. I agree with you. Communication for me is everything.
Right.
And what I mean by that, I hope that when we are communicating with each other, it's not always a battle, but we are at least expressing and hearing what the other person is trying to convey.
Is that the way it works in your relationship?
Can I say what I'm saying? Everybody want to control my
No, I'm just asking.
So
I'm the host. I ask the question.
Okay, but
Is that the way it works in your relationship?
Not all the time.
Okay.
What I like is for someone when I'm communicating, acknowledge what I'm saying.
Okay.
Then when you acknowledge, don't just acknowledge with a false acknowledgement. Acknowledge understanding what I'm saying. If you don't understand what I'm saying, then come back and say, hey, I really didn't get that because you gave me too many words or you kind of took it the long route, but acknowledge what I'm saying.
So saying that, wouldn't that make you toxic to say you went the long way to tell me what?
No, that's not making. I'm saying about communication.
That's what I'm talking about.
That doesn't make me
so if I question,
he's not going to trigger
if I
me.
question you concerning the conversation, no, not me. If your husband,
I only have one.
as if I'm not your husband. If your husband questioned you concerning the conversation, on you already expressed what you thought you conveyed over to him. And then he questioned you about it, wouldn't that make you toxic?
No, absolutely not. If it depends on how you convey it.
How he convey it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So if you're coming back and you're saying, babe, I didn't understand what you just said. Can you elaborate a little?
It's another C word.
Clarify. We're gonna do a positive C. Clarify.
Yeah. Well, so this is where a lot of people. No, I'm holding.
Come on in.
A lot of we've gotten conditioned to push communication is key. If I were to say something to you in a language that you were not familiar with, I would still be communicating. You just would not be able to comprehend what I'm saying if you are not fluent with that language. My wife's side of the family speaks Japanese because they're Japanese and Black. I have other cousins who are Salvadorian. So they have a whole nother dialect that they speak.
Okay.
I can't comprehend it, but they are communicating. So communication is nice. Comprehension is what is key. Because if you are communicating to your wonderful husband, but he cannot comprehend what your point is or where you are trying to go with that level of communication, then there's going to be that gap that we talked about with communication. If that means that he or she needs to get an understanding. So with comprehension comes an understanding.
When you start talking about Japanese and Chinese and all these different languages, you was making a valid point. But now you start talking about comprehension and we speak in the same language. It's insulting. So I'm gonna start right there.
Okay,
you got something to...
Yes, off of his to tie it back to y'all's. So even if your mother-in-law doesn't speak your native language, because my mother-in-law doesn't speak English.
Okay.
But I can read from the tone of the FaceTime that she's saying something positive or she has a serious concern. So even if there isn't the same language, there should be a connectedness where you can feel that your wife has good intent. Or feel that they're concerned or didn't feel heard. So even if she speaks a different language, right? Men are from Mars, when women are from Venus.
Right.
Great book.
There's still some type of a meeting of the mind.
Mhm.
Correct. I agree with that.
Is
I
that-
agree
is
with
that
that.
it?
Yes,
Yeah.
because then that's where I can gauge intent, right? I can gauge if you are being caring in how it is you are
Right.
communicating. But the challenge is if mother is asking you to take the trash out and she's doing it in a pleasant way, but you don't know that she's asking you to take the trash out, there's a disconnect. But you can, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. Okay. But then she comes back, trash is still there. At some point in time, that intent or that mood, that aura, that vibe is going to change because she's
Right.
like, okay, why is he not taking the trash out? But again, she's saying that in a language that you can't comprehend. So if, just to use them because they're the only actual couple here right now,
Mhm.
if Val does the same thing, is she's like, hey, Lawrence, I need you to take the trash out before you go to
Mhm.
work. He's like, okay, yeah, cool.
And he doesn't.
And he doesn't. But his response when he comes back home, he's like, what's going on? I said, well, I actually take trash out. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I thought you meant like later on. I didn't comprehend not only what you meant,
Right.
the severity or when you wanted it to be done, the time frame associated with it. I didn't get all that.
Mhm.
So, but she still communicated that.
Right.
So that's where I think the comprehension is important with.
She
Right.
said she wanted him to come back to clarify.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the part that
So his clarifying question helps him comprehend what it is she's
Mhm.
communicating.
And even though,
Okay.
she's not going to ask me to take the trash out because that's automatic on my behalf. But-
No.
Does he take the trash?
Oh,
Just-
yes, he does. And
So-
very serious about his wife not having to take trash.
Right,
out.
100%.
I appreciate
Right.
that.
100%. So, wow. We got a lot going on the studio.
Well, the
studio
reason I had to
today.
do that, I got a notice that somebody was trying to log into my
What?
ID in Beijing. So that's what I was taking care
Okay.
of. Please, I'm
Okay.
sorry about that.
All right.
I just want to touch on what AD was saying because he makes a good point in terms of, and I think someone had said this on our episode of the Love and Victory show with Val. Someone made a
Mhm.
comment. I think that a lot of people want to be understood, but they don't want to
Mhm.
understand.
Understand,
Yeah.
And it really does go
That's one
both
of Brother
ways.
Carter's favorite sermons right there.
Mhm.
Seek ye first to understand, then be understood.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
but
think
go ahead.
a lot of times in relationships, like especially in like a disagreement or an
Mhm.
argument, you're trying so hard to get your point
Went
across
across it,
Yeah.
that you're not even listening to what the other person
Right.
is saying. You think you're listening,
Mhm.
but and I've noticed myself doing this. Like I might be in an argument with someone I'm dating,
Mhm.
and I'm not even listening. I'm thinking about what I'm gonna say.
Your
Right,
response.
right.
And
That's toxic.
it is toxic,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I've had to like kind of unlearn that and to be like and to not always be on the defense and try
Right.
to disprove what that person's saying
Yeah.
and really try to see it from their perspective, which takes a lot more effort than I think a lot of people are willing
Right.
to give. in their
Exactly. I'm glad you brought that
I
point
think that's
up.
a very good point there
Yeah.
because that does take work.
Mhm.
And that's a part of denying yourself
Mhm.
Yep.
so that you can hear the
Yeah.
other side.
That takes a pure let me stop me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And that's what, and when you have a rebuttal
A
set
good
up,
one. A good one. You just want to toss
Yeah.
it out there.
Mhm.
you have a rebuttal before the person talking to you
Mhm.
even finished a sentence,
Mhm.
You-
then you have not heard a word
You're not-
that
You're not
person
even
said.
trying. You're
I
not
gotta
even
give you that.
trying
Yeah.
to listen.
You
You're not,
have
you're,
got
you're
that
not in
now.
the posture to
No,
receive what
no.
it is
Yeah.
that
You
they're
have
saying.
not.
Yeah.
You
You're
have-
on the defensive.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what makes a person defensive?
You
Since
mean
we
a
spoken
female
of-
or a male?
Either.
Well, self-preservation is the first rule of nature.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if I feel as if I'm being attacked, the first natural instinct that I have is
It's
to
protect.
preserve myself,
Mm-hmm.
to protect me, whether it's my feelings, whether
Yeah.
it's you physically doing something to me.
Okay.
That's the first thing that each of us have in us. So most of the time when those conversations start, it feels like an attack.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But why would somebody feel attacked by someone
That they
that
love.
love them and they love back? How do someone feel attacked by that?
That's a good question.
That is a good
That's a good
question.
question, and I think
And
that,
there's something deeper involved
I-
in
and I was
this.
I
getting
than-
ready to respond to
Yeah.
that too, because I think that is when you really think about it from that perspective, that is like, wow, why do you feel attacked? Why do you
Mhm.
feel unsafe? Why do you
With
feel
me.
challenged with me?
Yeah.
who
Oh,
I
that's a good
love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I have to agree with you. That goes back to something that has happened in their past.
Mhm.
And so for me, being me, when
Mhm.
I get to that place, I recognize it takes me back to where I was.
Yeah,
harmed.
but you have to
You
you have to
understand?
at some point in your life. I'm just saying that we have to stop bringing
That's
what happened here
Well, I think
to our present.
no, I think we have to be honest with individuals, because when it depends on the level of trauma that a person has had.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so this is where we can't brush everybody with the same brush.
Mhm.
You know, the level of trauma that a person have,
Mhm.
it's stages in which they are able to release and grow
Yeah.
and move forward with it. I can speak for myself. There are certain things that probably don't trigger that sense of feeling unsafe. But there are certain things, and sometimes some certain conversation, or even being in a space with certain people, that will trigger that because of the trauma.
Because of the trauma.
The trauma.
So we got trauma. We got a sense of unforgiveness.
Mhm.
We have this distrust that take place in our
of
lives.
self.
Of self. Because it's never about the other. Say that again. Go
A
on, Nita.
distrust of self. So it blocks me from receiving the
Mhm.
feedback
Yeah.
that you are trying to give me. So I'm going to go into fight or flight and
Mhm.
block,
Mhm.
stiff arm you,
Mhm.
because I don't trust myself to receive the message
Mhm.
that you were trying to give me.
Because of what Joe Blow did to you.
Or some
15
type
years
But
of
it may not
fear.
necessarily be a Joe Blow.
Yeah.
And
It
Or
could
something
it could
that I
be a
haven't worked
Susie.
through.
Yeah.
It could be a Susie
Well,
on this
it
side.
may not necessarily
So-
be a individual. It could be a
situation,
situation.
yeah.
And that's the
situation.
thing. And we have to.
That's why I
stop.
say trauma. We
Yeah.
got unforgiveness, and we have this
Fear.
lack of trust. So
And
in this,
Or distrust of self.
yes,
But I'm holding you emotionally hostage
Yes.
Mhm.
if I don't allow you to communicate with me.
Mhm.
If I
Mhm.
say, so it's I get what everybody says,
Mhm.
but there's an ebb and a flow, because if I go back to say, well, that reminds me of this time, I'm still blocking you. I'm still
Mhm.
traumatizing you
right,
and holding you hostage
yeah,
Mhm.
with my emotional
Oh,
challenges.
right.
Does that make sense?
That
Mhm.
makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Very
And
good.
so,
Wow.
so that's what we want to do on Tasteful and Toxic here. We hope that we can move to a place
Okay.
where we can stop those blocks, those
Mhm.
walls
Yes.
from showing up in our lives. Too many. I know we all come with baggage.
Mhm.
We all come with trauma. We all come with things in our past that try to hold us back in life, that show up periodically and out of nowhere. And
Mhm.
sometimes they just show up.
Yeah.
And so how do we combat? How do we stop
counsel.
those?
That's a good one.
I mean,
Yeah,
counseling is one thing. There's people that have been in counseling for years, and it's still happening.
Mm.
And so I wouldn't
the
just,
therapist.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. So
No,
there's a
you
show
know what
on
I'm saying?
Showtime
Yeah.
that my wife and I watch. I think I mentioned it to you and our friend Robert. It's called Marriage Counseling.
Yeah.
It is a phenomenal
Mhm.
show because it gives you an insight on the relationship struggles of other people. And I promise you, there's something in those relationships that you can identify with.
Mhm.
But you see how the therapist is getting them to come to a resolution or
Mhm.
identify what the triggering thing is or where that came from, because she asks questions that make you go internally.
Inside. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think therapy is important, but what therapy tends to do is it increases your level of awareness
Mm.
of what barriers or what defensive blockades you've established
Mhm.
in certain areas or
of it.
realms in your life.
Yeah.
So if you have trouble with finances and you feel some type of way when someone questions your finances, well, when your significant other wants to talk about the budget, guess what you're going to do? That
That
budget's
wall
going to be
up.
up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you have been single for an extended period of time and haven't had it to report in or check in and say where you are at this point in time, when someone questions why
Mhm.
you were at the gym at 9:00 or why you went to happy hour with your
Mhm.
friends, well, wait a minute.
Mhm.
It's gonna go up.
The wall.
I was doing this before
Yeah.
you popped on the scene.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that barrier is going to come up, but that awareness doesn't come into play until you have not only the maturity level that is necessary to access that, hey, there are some things that I need to change or some things that are
Mhm.
triggering
Yeah.
me that are impacting the relationship.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you don't have that, an unbiased party to give you the tools necessary to really dive in on those things,
Mhm.
then you're really not going to ever be able to get past
That's
that.
right.
And you're always going to be in
That's
that
true.
toxic space.
And the question comes down to, in my humble opinion,
Mhm.
do you want to change?
Yeah, that's
That's
good.
a good one.
That's real good.
Because some people don't,
Do
and they just
you
don't want to
want
admit that.
change?
Yeah.
I mean, because you sometimes you comfortable just
Mhm.
this the way I am, this the way I'm gonna be. Abigail, give
Yeah.
me something.
I also think too, a lot of people go into relationships. They want someone to just supplement the life they're already
Come
living.
Yes.
on now, there
Say
it is,
that
right
again.
there.
They want somebody to supplement the life they're already living,
Yeah.
and they're not willing to adjust and
Compromise.
to compromise and to be a unit with that other person.
Mhm.
If you're so used to living your own life, and like you said, Adonis, like not like reporting to someone, and
Mhm.
I feel like it really starts with the desire to be in a unit with another
Yeah.
person.
Mhm.
And you guys have to be on the same page. If one person is still wanting to live their individual life,
Yeah.
Right.
It's not
it's
gonna work.
not going to work.
Stay your single.
Yeah.
Say that again.
For
Yeah.
real. For
Yeah.
real.
You know, and I feel sorry if anything ever, God forbid, anything happened to my lovely wife and someone else have to try to choose me. Good luck.
God bless you. God bless you.
Yeah.
Wow, because I'm a person, and I know what triggers me.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't like to be questioned about anything. I have a pet peeve about that.
I think that's the thing with a lot of men.
That's a man
I
thing.
think that's the thing with a lot of
Because my
men.
husband reacts like that.
Because I had to check myself because
But you have to check yourself.
at the early stages of our marriage, I had to check myself because I was the late. I managed the gym when my wife and I first really started dating,
Mhm.
and I would work my shift and I would work out at the gym starting at like 9-10 o'clock at night. And there are some nights where if we played basketball and then worked out, I wouldn't finish my
Right.
time at the gym until 1-2 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Come on.
And
Okay.
I'm-
No. I ain't your wife, but I
That's
got a
long.
problem with that.
No.
I'm just saying.
No, I have
If
my
she
own
got a
space.
problem, she ain't wrong.
Well,
So-
y'all
so
weren't married
you
at the
mean
time.
We were
They
not
weren't
married.
married.
We were
Okay.
not
Were
married.
y'all living together?
No, we
No,
were not
they
married. We were not living together. I had my own place. She had her own place. And because I see,
Yeah.
I agree with you. If this is
Yeah,
a marriage
one-
situation,
Yeah.
So-
I mean, girlfriend, boyfriend, 2 o'clock in the morning, you still out
No.
working out?
100%.
Please.
Now the challenge, no, I really
Working
was. I really
Yeah,
was.
you working out.
I promise you. I promise you I was. I promise you I was. There was a change that had to take place because once we got married, what routine am I still used to? Working out late.
Yeah.
I get off work late. Okay, I'm gonna go straight. I got my gym bag in my truck on my vehicle, and I'm going to the gym. I can shower at the gym. I can do all the other stuff. That way, when I come home, I'm going straight to bed,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm getting up because I don't have to go to work early. I'm getting up when I want to. All that
Right.
stuff. So the challenge was, okay, I have to be aware that this is someone who I want to create a life
Life
with.
Mm-hmm.
That
and
ain't gonna work.
She is questioning
At all.
Right.
why are you going
Yeah.
to the gym at 10 o'clock?
And then
Right.
coming home
I-
style fresh.
Because this is
Can I ask you a question?
yeah. Go ahead.
Mhm.
I got one.
If you were completely honest, would you say that was a toxic habit that you had as a single person?
As a single person, no.
No.
Then why did you change it when you got married?
If
If it wasn't toxic,
If it wasn't toxic,
what's this toxic versus
Tasteful.
Tasteful. If it was tasteful, why change it?
I changed it because it was an
It
expectation
was
or
affecting.
a desire that my wife had.
Mm.
My wife wanted, because the reason why she was worried about me being out late had nothing to do with infidelity or anything like that. It was legitimately because I was a black man living in a world that didn't necessarily prioritize the safety of black men when they were out transitioning from a gym to the home.
and I'm not gonna be toxic, but I'm gonna be coming from a woman and a
Mhm.
wife, and you can
Mhm.
jump in on this. That may
Mhm.
be part of it, but there was a large part of her as a woman, whether she admitted it or not.
Yes.
What is
She
going
did.
whether
Mhm.
what is going on that my
There's a
Mhm.
problem.
Mhm.
why is he out this late?
Mhm.
What is really going
I'm
on?
in the bed sleeping.
And
She
he ain't home.
He ain't here yet.
Yet.
Right.
And
And
so-
I'm still got both my eyes open. I can't even go to sleep
100%.
because his ass is still out
And
there
it-
talking about he working out.
whether something was going on or not, it's the fact that she couldn't rest.
Mhm.
And so
And that was challenging for me.
Yeah.
It was toxic to her spirit.
100%.
spirit.
100%. And I not only accepted that, I was able to understand it.
Mhm,
Mhm.
So that is the Trae knows this. I wake up early.
mhm.
Yeah.
I'm up sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Sunday, for various reasons.
Mhm.
So instead of being a night owl who was conditioned to work out late,
You become an early owl.
I'm an
There
early
you go.
bird.
Trey had something he wanted to throw in here.
Yeah.
We'll let him get it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, was there any exposure involved in that? Because there's awareness, but I feel like if some people don't, become aware, they can become aware through exposure. And
You
seeing
mean me
other
or my
people doing
wife?
it. You.
You.
By you being, was there any type of exposure where it's like, okay,
He trying to say if I'm making, if you trying to say was there some exposure to other women or
possible
something?
no. Exposure to like other men having to change like their ways of staying up late or something like that
Hold
in
on,
order
say
to
it
see it.
again.
I may
know
not
what
be
you're
saying
asking.
it the right way.
I know what you're asking.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, no, I had not been exposed to any men who were in a committed relationship that made the conscious decision to change a routine or behavior that they had.
Instead of being stuck in that one way. This is what I want to do.
What I do.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
You need to change.
Okay.
Back to brother.
You can get them boys that say, "Man, you gonna let a woman tell you?"
So back to brother.
Yeah.
Back to Brother Carter's point. At that stage in my life, we had already done individual therapy and counseling, and then we did counseling together because we knew that our end game was to get married and have a successful marriage. So before
did y'all do any of that through the church?
No.
Was it all?
It was all outside of the
secular.
church.
Okay.
It was an unbiased because the church that
good.
we attended at the time was her uncle was the head pastor and I was a minister at the church. So we didn't want any bias.
There you go.
Individuals who now have access to the information that we're sharing.
Don't be messing over my niece now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
We
exactly.
didn't want any of that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So we went to a third party that was unbiased that could, AD has a point. Well, Brittany has a point.
Yeah.
So I had not been exposed to any men who were in a situation to where their significant other had said, "Hey, this is concerning to me." It's not a red flag. It's just a yield sign. And I'm being very cautious with how you are proceeding because of how it's going to impact my ability to rest. So I was okay, no problem. If that means throughout the day or throughout the night, I'm home spending time with us collectively. We watching our TV shows. We watching Love and Marriage, Huntsville. That's fine. I ain't got no problem with that. Just know my alarm is going to go off at 3:00 in the morning, and I'm going to be up. So I can either be an early bird or a night owl.
Okay.
Because I have a passion and a desire to work out.
That's fair.
And as far as the way my energy is released in a sense, outside of our physical intimacy, this is another way for me to feel good and feel good about myself. So I prioritize that.
Okay.
Doesn't mean I'm not prioritizing our time together. I just am also prioritizing. There's a compromise that was
there's
there.
a thin line right there. What you're speaking of, and so
I think that's like a true compromise too.
Yeah.
Like you're not willing to give up what makes you happy and what you need to do for yourself, but you are willing to compromise in the sense that like, okay, I see where you're coming from, and I'm willing to adjust to make it work for both of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If she would have said it, it sounded like she said it very nicely. So you compromise. But if she would have said, "Stop playing with me, and you need to be home,"
So it's
like if she would have got
twofold.
to the nitty gritty,
Yeah.
would you have been willing to?
I wouldn't have been receptive.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been receptive, but it
You
was
would not have
twofold.
been?
It was twofold because that conversation took place after we had done the work individually. So now I'm conscious and I'm aware of things that I'm doing that may be a trigger for her because there were challenges that she experienced with her parents' relationship and marriage. We both are the products of relationships that didn't stay together. So there are triggers that she has, triggers that I have that we've expressed. So, but before we went into that therapy. I wouldn't. What you mean? I'm just working out.
Yeah.
Like I'm not legitimately.
conscious of how I
Only
feel.
now let me ask you this, and because we got to put the show to a close here in short. Do you see the insecuritiness showing up still, even after you guys been through the therapy once and twice? Do those insecurities still show up? Because at the end of the day, I believe some of these insecurities could manifest itself,
And they may
should
come
I
up
say.
in different ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
so
You
I would say yes.
And I was gonna say, if yes is your answer to the question, what is the compromise to that?
Okay, so it's a yes to both parties.
Yes.
So there are scenarios where even though she has done work, there are still questions that she has. And from my perspective, even though I've done the work, it's still a little challenging when I get questioned on what is going on.
Right.
So there's an insecurity there, even though this is the person that I've decided and chosen to live and create a life with.
Right.
Why are you questioning that? Like, come on.
Yeah.
So it's on both sides.
So could that be, and I'm going to throw this out there because I think that could that be, I'm sorry, but could that be a little ego?
100%. That's where insecurity. Yeah, 100%. That's where the insecurity comes from.
Yeah, and so when don't question me come in, that's the ego.
Right. So there's a lack of security that the person that is posing the question or trying to make a clarifying statement, if we go back to our initial conversation, that I am defensive because I'm perceiving this as an attack, and it's not. Likewise, when she has thoughts of uncertainty that not only comes from a triggering place, but it puts into question, not only inevitably, it puts into question my character and anything connected to my commitment to her. So I totally understand that because she's operating out of a space that she's been triggered from.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Because the past have a way of reeing itself all the time. But go ahead.
It goes back to your question. You said when you, as a couple or boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife, when you feel like you are being toxic, how do you stop it? I think it was something like that you asked earlier. I talked to a prophetess and I was sharing with her some things that I felt. And she said, wow, that's a human emotion. The soul doesn't know insecurity or frustration or whatever we're talking about. She said the soul only works from the level of this is an opportunity or this is a lesson. So when I feel myself becoming toxic and applying human emotion to my thoughts, I said, wait a minute. Either there's an opportunity here or there's a lesson. So to answer your question, I've been applying that over the past 90 days.
Because we're spiritual beings
really
who are
good.
living an
That was
emotional
very
experience.
powerful what you just said. So
and that's why I'm getting ready to close this show because Abigail need to get out of here. So
well, she can go. We can keep talking.
No. we do nothing without Miss Abigail over there.
Right.
Miss Abigail is a conductor. She's the producer. She's the executive producer of everything that
Shout
we
out to
do
Abigail.
here. So she do a lot of things.
Thank you, guys.
God bless you. So I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Scripturally, a lot of people try to base things off their own human emotions and feelings and things like that in life. And I think if you don't apply scripture to your being, then you don't have a foundation, should I say.
Anchor.
You got to have something that you can stand on. And so I'm going to leave us with Romans chapter 12, verses 1, 2, and maybe 3. It said, I beseech you, brothers, by the mercies of God, that you present your body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is what? Your reasonable service. And this the kicker. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed
by the renewing
of your what?
mind.
All right. And so we have to learn how to do that daily in our processes in order for us to be better people, not only for ourselves, but for those that are around us as well. And so, all right. So having said
Brother
that, this has been another edition of
Brother
Tasteful
Carter.
and Toxic.
Brother Carter,
with Brother Carter.
He's trying to cut it off and she won't let it.
Brother Carter, I got to give him his flowers.
He just gave us some soul
Let me
food.
tell you something. That was something for the soul. As you said, that was excellent.
All right. God bless you.
And I ain't through. I'm your co-host.
Okay.
Okay. You know how you jump in on my
The
stuff?
scripture's supposed to be the last word.
But again, Brother Carter,
You know how you in you in the studio and they got the little site close, wrap up. Brother Carter saw it. Val ain't see it. She ain't see it.
Brother Carter, because I'm looking this way. Brother Carter,
Go ahead.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent.
God bless
Excellent. There should be no other words, but I'm
Mhm.
going to leave with this.
So wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
You can say
I
something
got
else,
something to say.
but I got something to say
Right.
because what you just said is so true. And we kind of have to really make sure. And I'm going to put myself out there. I love putting myself out. That's where the growth come from. It's a constant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day. You got to remind yourself. You got to renew that mind. You got to also know when someone's trying to get you, trigger you.
Mhm.
This is the first time I sat on your show
Mhm.
and I was not toxic. Thank you.
Okay.
I enjoyed this.
God
That's
bless.
progress.
And
That's progress.
At
That's
the end of the day, since I'm the host, I have to say something else.
It's a battle.
You got to close us out.
Yeah. At the end of the day, what scripture telling us that we have to constantly evolve our way of thinking.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking with AD about his working out and stuff like that, and his wife may not feel secure or insecure or whatever you want to say. And so sometime in life we do have to make adapt to
Yeah.
changes for other people
Yes.
Yes.
in our
It's
lives
not always-
if we say we love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
I
So
agree.
if we love them, then I have to dial back on something at some point in my life to make her feel better,
All right.
or to her to make him feel better.
All righty then.
Okay,
Won't he do
so
it?
that's what it's all about. I don't
Won't he do
belong to me.
Mm.
I belong to her.
And I belong to you.
Okay,
All
and
right
so
now.
at the end of the day, when
right.
we realize that, and we start making each other feel better, that's when we can become that one that they talk about all
Yes.
the time. That's when we get that. So thank y'all for tuning into the
Oh, go ahead and give us a plug.
no, I was gonna say Tasteful and Toxic with Brother Carter. We love you. God bless you. And to the next time.